Welcome to Deep Dive. Today we're unrolling a crucial new development that impacts thousands, really thousands of individuals looking to travel to the United States.
That's right.
We're talking about a significant tightening of U.S. visa rules, particularly affecting applicants from India. And, this isn't just about minor adjustments or bureaucratic tweaks.
Not at all.
These are substantial, sweeping shifts in policy that began taking effect just days ago. It's a complete game changer for many people.
Indeed. And this deep dive will comprehensively unpack what these new directives truly mean, for students, for visitors, professionals too.
Right.
We'll examine not just the immediate changes, but also the, let's say, broader implications, the rationale behind it, and what everyone really needs to understand about navigating this dramatically altered landscape.
Okay.
This information, it genuinely redefines how international travel, study, and professional engagement with the U.S. will be approached from India.
Okay, let's unpack this then. What exactly is this recent directive that has caused such a ripple? And when did it officially come into play?
So, the U.S. Department of State issued this new directive on September 6, 2025. Its core mandate is that all non-immigrant visa applications, and this is a really wide net. It includes visitor visas like B1, B2 for tourism or business, employment visas such as H-1B for skilled workers, O-1s for extraordinary ability folks, and student visas like the F-1.
The main ones, basically.
Exactly. They must now be processed only from an applicant's country of residence or citizenship. That's the key.
Only? Wow.
Yes. This is a fundamental shift in how applications are handled.
So what does this all mean in very practical terms for someone, say, from India, someone hoping to visit family or study at a U.S. university, maybe pursue a job opportunity? It sounds like a big change from what many were used to.
It is, and what's truly fascinating and quite impactful here is that this directive immediately removes a significant flexibility. A flexibility that many applicants, particularly from India, had really come to rely on, especially, in the post-COVID-19 era.
Right, things were a bit different then.
For years, people facing those notoriously long wait times back home in India, many bypass those delays by scheduling their visa interviews in third countries.
Ah, the visa shopping idea.
Precisely. We're talking about places like Vietnam, Thailand, Singapore, or even some countries over in Europe. That option, it's now entirely off the table. It just fundamentally alters their application strategy and removes what was really a key pressure release valve for the system.
That practice of using third countries, it was a well-known workaround, almost an open secret, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Can you tell us more about why it became so prevalent specifically for Indian applicants? It sounds like it wasn't just a convenience thing, but maybe almost a necessity for lots of people trying to meet deadlines.
You've hit it exactly. It wasn't just convenience. For many, it was the only viable path forward. India's visa processing system has, historically been overstretched.
We hear that a lot.
Yeah. We've seen processing delays that could stretch up to a year, sometimes even longer, just for short-term visitor visas.
A year? Wow.
And limited appointment availability for student visas, especially during that peak summer season. And here's a surprising fact for many listeners, perhaps. Before these new rules, some B1, B2 visa applicants in India were already facing wait times that could exceed 800 days.
800 days. Just for an interview.
Just for the initial interview slot. So this reality led many, especially students with those strict university enrollment deadlines, to seek quicker slots in places like Dubai, Singapore, Vietnam, Thailand.
Makes sense.
This new policy effectively halts that entire practice. It forces everyone back into the same already overflowing queue in their home country.
And we've even heard reactions from people directly in the field, right? Like Rachit Agarwal, founder of AdmitCard, an overseas education platform.
Yes.
He specifically highlighted that students were in fact actively encouraged to apply from these other places for quicker slots, especially since June.
That's right. They were told this was the way to go.
So that's a huge pivot for them and for the whole education consulting industry.
Yeah.
They've got to completely re-strategize, like overnight.
Exactly. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the elimination of these third country options, it's almost certainly going to exacerbate the already immense delays for Indian applicants.
Right, it has to, doesn't it?
The existing backlogs are staggering. And now, consolidating all applications back into India will naturally put an even greater unprecedented strain on the system.
It's just math, really.
It is. It's not just a logistical challenge. It's a deep impact on individuals' timelines, their finances, their life plans. We're looking at a significant bottleneck that's only going to intensify.
And it's not just about where you apply, but how you apply, right? We're also hearing about mandatory interviews for almost everyone now. That seems like another layer of complexity on an already tough situation.
Precisely. That's the other major piece. From September 2nd, 2025, the U.S. began enforcing mandatory in-person interviews for nearly all non-immigrant visa applicants.
Nearly all.
Nearly all. This removes several previous exemptions that many people had come to rely on. For instance, those age-based waivers for children or seniors, which let them skip an interview. Gone.
Okay.
And crucially, the Dropbox renewal options. Many people use these for quick, convenient visa renewals without needing an in-person appointment.
Right, that was super convenient.
That's also no longer available for the vast majority. For those maybe unfamiliar, the Dropbox system let eligible applicants just submit their documents through designated centers. It made renewals much quicker and less disruptive.
Less paperwork, more interviews.
Exactly. And this raises a really important question. If more people now need interviews, and those interviews can only happen in their home country, well, what does that do to the existing wait times and the overall processing capacity?
It points towards an even tighter bottleneck, doesn't it?
It certainly suggests that. It directly impacts efficiency.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for our listeners, I think. Who is most affected by these changes? And what are the tangible, real-world implications they absolutely need to be prepping for right now?
Right, let's look at specific groups, because the impact, while universally challenging, it does vary in its nature. For Indian students, this adds even more significant roadblocks.
Which they really didn't need.
Exactly. They're already coping with long wait times, not to mention the substantial financial investments, the immense academic pressure to start programs on time. Now, without that flexibility of applying elsewhere, the uncertainty and logistical challenges increase substantially. But there's another crucial layer here, too.
Okay.
There are also these proposed restrictions on visa durations for F, J, and I categories, so that's students, exchange visitors, and media professionals.
Okay, what kind of restrictions?
Well, traditionally, an F1 student visa, for example, was granted for the duration of status, basically tied to how long your academic program was, which offered flexibility. Now, if it shifts to a fixed, shorter term, say, maybe 2 or 4 years, students doing PhDs or even longer master's programs could face the daunting prospect of having to reapply mid-degree.
Oh, wow, that's a huge headache.
It would fundamentally alter long-term academic planning. It introduces significant uncertainty, especially for research fields, and creates even more administrative hurdles for international students already navigating a complex system.
And what about Indian visitors? You know, people just trying to see family, attend a wedding, maybe take that trip to the U.S. they've planned for years. This must be equally frustrating, maybe even more so given the emotional side of it.
Absolutely. For visitors, that option to apply in third countries offered some much-needed relief. Relief from those notoriously long queues and unpredictable timelines in India.
A bit of hope, maybe.
Yes, its removal means added wait times, increased uncertainty, and likely heightened frustration for anyone just seeking a short-term U.S. visit. Imagine, a grandparent planning to see their newborn grandchild, or a family saving for years for a milestone event. Now they face potential delays that could push that trip out by months, maybe even a year.
Making the whole point of the trip impossible sometimes.
Exactly. It's not just a logistical headache, it's a real emotional toll.
Okay, so beyond the location changes and the interview mandate, what about other hurdles? Are there new fees, increased vetting? It always feels like the cost of international travel is going up.
You're absolutely right to highlight the financial side. The U.S. has indeed introduced a new $250 visa integrity fee.
Visa integrity fee.
Yes, it's applicable to many non-immigrant visa categories: tourist, student, work, exchange visas. This fee, as the name suggests, is intended to fund more robust background checks and screening processes.
Okay.
Basically, a premium for increased vetting to ensure the legitimacy and integrity of each application. And importantly, this fee is non-waivable in most cases.
So everyone pays.
Pretty much. It adds to an already high cost for applicants, especially when you factor in travel for interviews, passport costs, other fees. It's a significant extra financial burden that wasn't there before.
And I understand there's also increased digital scrutiny. That sounds very modern, maybe a bit intrusive to some.
Yes, that's correct. Earlier in 2025, the U.S. began requiring visa applicants to make their social media profiles public.
Public, as in viewable by anyone.
That's the requirement. It's a significant step designed to facilitate enhanced vetting. meaning a deeper, more comprehensive look into applicants' digital footprints. The stated purpose is to assess eligibility, intentions, and ensure they meet all the criteria for entry. It reflects a broader trend towards using digital data for security and immigration, adding another layer of complexity and transparency to the process.
Okay, so to give our listeners a quick summary, like a snapshot of this seismic shift, can you walk us through the major differences before versus after these policy changes? What's fundamentally different now?
Certainly. Let's do a quick side-by-side. It really highlights how dramatic these changes are.
Good idea.
Okay, first, application location. Before, you had flexibility India or a third country. Now, strictly exclusively only India.
Got it. Only India.
Second, interview exemptions. Previously, age-based waivers, the Dropbox renewals, these were often possible. Saved time, saved hassle. Now, interviews are largely mandatory for almost everyone.
More interviews for more people?
Third, fees. Beyond the standard consular fees, there's now that additional $250 visa integrity fee that wasn't a factor before.
An extra cost.
Fourth, processing time. It was already long, unpredictable, but third countries sometimes offered a way around the worst delays. Now, with everything concentrated, expect significantly longer delays across the board.
Longer waits expected.
And finally, digital vetting. What was maybe optional or limited before now explicitly requires public social media profiles, much deeper, more extensive scrutiny of your online life.
Public profiles. Okay, that's a clear picture. This clearly signals a really sharp shift, doesn't it? Away from that pandemic-era flexibility, which offered some breathing room, towards much stricter, more rigid protocols, a very centralized approach.
Absolutely.
Sounds like Indian students, visitors, professionals. They now face not only higher costs and significantly longer wait times, but also just unprecedented levels of scrutiny. The whole system has fundamentally changed for them.
Indeed. Their options to sort of bypass the bottlenecks and manage their timelines have been dramatically curtailed. This new landscape, it really requires meticulous planning, substantial patience, and a thorough understanding of these updated, much more stringent requirements.
Yeah?
It fundamentally alters the convenience and predictability that many applicants might have once perhaps taken for granted. And while the official rationale often emphasizes integrity and security, an underlying insight perhaps is a move towards greater state control over these immigration pathways, maybe aimed at managing internal demands or subtly reprioritizing certain types of international engagement.
Interesting point.
This consolidation of processing, for example, it allows for more centralized data collection, clearer bottleneck management, even if that bottleneck now falls squarely on the applicants themselves.
Right.
It raises a really important question for the future, I think. How might these stricter controls impact the U.S.'s ability to attract top global talent and students in the long term? What's the ripple effect on industries that heavily rely on international expertise and exchange? Something to watch.
Definitely something to keep an eye on.
So, just to recap briefly, we've covered the U.S. Department of State's new directive mandating in-country visa processing only.
Right.
The elimination of those third country options.
Fine.
The reintroduction of mandatory interviews for most non-immigrant visas.
Yep.
The additional costs with that new visa integrity fee.
The $250.
And the increased digital vetting now in place.
Social media checks.
Exactly. These changes, taken together, they really usher in an era of greater cost, much more scrutiny, and significantly longer wait times for many Indian applicants hoping to travel to the United States.
Thank you for joining us for this crucial deep dive into the recent U.S. visa rule changes. We really hope this information provides you with clarity and helps you navigate these new requirements.
It's a complex situation.
It certainly is. All the best, and we will meet again with another important matter in the next meeting.